How I closed $1.8 million in sales without sales calls for one single client, only through chats. What's up, everybody? It's Aman here, and look, I'm gonna get straight to the chase. This right here, $1.8 million closed, no sales calls, no Zoom meetings, just fucking chat messages. Listen, I know what you're thinking. Bullshit, you can't close high ticket coaching clients without getting on the phone. Well, stick around because I'm about to blow your mind with exactly how I did it. And here's what's crazy. Most experts will tell you that you need to get on a call to close anything over a few $100. They'll say you need to build rapport and handle objections in real time and all that other crap they teach in sales courses. But what if I tell you that's completely horseshit? What I told you that my client went from struggling to hit even 5K a month to consistently hitting 70 to $80,000 a month all through chats. Not only that, but we tripled their conversion rate and can now handle 5 times more sales conversations at once. No more calendar Tetris, no more no shows, no more awkward sales calls where the prospects ghost you halfway through. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact method we used, not some vague theory or high level shit. The actual messages, the actual framework, the actual psychology behind why this works so damn well. Now, this took me 5 years to master, millions of dollars in coaching, testing, and so on. And I'm just going to save you a lot of time. So, before we dive in, let me quickly introduce myself for those who don't know me. Hi, I'm Aman Gupta, and I've been doing this chat closing thing for about 5.5 years now and have held various clients and with their sales system and sell high ticket offers through chats. Fast forward to today, I have personally closed over $4.9 million in coaching and consulting deals through chat conversations, and I have helped dozens of other coaches implement the same system. But enough about me, let's talk about this case study because the results are fucking insane. So, the case study setup. So this client came to me about 2 years ago. They are a business coach selling programs between $3,000 to $10,000. They have everything. They had everything. Good offer, good content, good reputation. But they were stuck at around $5,000 per month in revenue. Their entire sales process looked like this. Post content on social media, get DMs, and then they replied with like, hey, let's hop on a call to discuss. Then did discovery calls, pitch their program, follow up for weeks trying to close. Sounds familiar? It's what literally everyone does. Problem is they could only do about 5 to 6 calls per day. Their calendar was always full. They were only closing 2 to 3 deals a month. And let me tell you, they were grinding, working 12 hours days, constantly stressed, always feeling like they were one bad month away from going broke. Now, here is what their calendar looked like before we started working together. You see, it was completely packed with sales calls, client meetings, and whatnot. And here is after. No sales calls, only client meetings because you got to deliver what you promise and then making 15 times the money. Now, what's interesting. When we look at their numbers, we found some shocking shit. First, 85% of people who came into their funnel never booked the call. They just disappeared. Second of all, who did book, about 40% were no shows. And finally, their close rate on calls was only about 25%. So, for every 100 people who showed interest, they were closing about 2 deals. That's a 2% overall conversion rate. But what happened to the other 98%? Were they all bad leads? Fuck no. They were just getting lost in a broken sales process. Now, here's our big idea. Here's what we did. We completely eliminated the sales calls from the process. Instead, what we built what I call a chat closing pathway that converts prospects directly from the first message to pulling out their credit card. Instead of DM to schedule call to show up and then presentation and close, what we did is we ran a simple chat funnel where they DM'd us on Instagram or on Facebook or on any social media. Then we started a chat funnel, send them the payment link, and then client closed. Look simple? Yes, it is simple. Look, so here's the most truth. Most sales experts won't tell you. People hate sales calls. They hate being put on the spot. They hate being pressured. They hate having to schedule something and then show up later. What they want is answers to the question now. They want to know if you can help them now. They want to move forward now. But there is a right way and a wrong way to do this. The wrong way is to just start pitching your shit immediately. That's how you become the sleazy hey girl person in the DMs that everyone hates. The right way is what I'm about to show you. The 5-step chat closing framework. All right. So let's break down the exact framework we built. I call it the dream framework for chat closing. There are many parts of the funnel, and each of these steps are about a different part. D stands for dig into their situation. R stands for relate to their problems. E stands for establish your solutions. A stands for address objections, and M make it easy to buy. Let me walk you through each step with actual examples from our campaign. Step one, dig into their situation. This is where most people screw up. They get a message from someone and immediately try to move them to call or start pitching. Instead, we start by asking the right questions that accomplish two things. First, they help us understand if the person is actually a good fit. Second, they get the prospect to open about their problems, which creates emotional investment. Here are the exact questions we use. When someone DM'd us scale, we said, "Hey man, I appreciate you reaching out to see if I can help. Could you tell me about bit about where you are at in your business right now?" You see, basically we are asking about their situation, where they are at right now, and trying to understand what they need help with, right? And then we said, "Hey, what's the biggest challenge you're facing with whatever problem they're facing?" Like, for example, it could be getting clients, it could be scaling, it could be losing their weight and whatnot, right? And then what have you already tried to solve this problem, right? And then finally, what do you think you need exactly to solve? Basically insert whatever the challenge is once and for all. This is very, very important, a very powerful message that you can use in your DMs. Look at how simple these questions are, nothing complicated, but they get people talking about their problems in a way that a generic hop on a call message never would. And here's the secret: while they're answering these questions, they're actually selling themselves on why they need help. Here's a real example. You can see here. So when we were doing chat closing, this person said, "Hey man, that would be a dream, honestly." Basically what we are doing, we're tapping into their uh, you know, pain points and seeing what they need help with. And obviously, once we present them the solution, it just blows their mind. It's the aha moment for them, right? So you can see, read, pause this video and read this, right? So you see how this person is basically telling us exactly what they need and why they need it. They're saying, "Hey, I am unable to find prospects who can pay me more. I've been trying different things, but I'm not seeing success." Right? So they're practically closing themselves before we have started pitching. Now, step two, relate to their problems. Once they have shared their situation, the next step is to show them you genuinely understand their problem. This is critical. Most coaches rush to pitch their solution without first demonstrating that they actually and truly understand the problem. Here is the magical sentence format we use. "I hear you on specific problem they mentioned. A lot of my clients struggle with extended version of the problem before we work together," right? It usually happens because inside the root cause. So basically, once they mention their specific problem, you need to tap into their pain points and tell them like, "Hey, this could be the outcomes of your problem. If you don't solve this for good right now, it could make things work in the future, worse in the future," right? And then obviously, what's the root cause of the problem? So let's look at the example. "I hear you on struggling to find the right prospects who can actually afford your offer. A lot of my clients were in the same spot, spending hours chasing leads only to realize they were not the right fit or did not have the budget." This usually happens because traditional outreach methods focus on volume instead of attracting high value prospects who are ready to invest. You see, you need to have something like this. You can copy paste this exact framework and use this in your messaging. Step three, establish your solution. Now that they're engaged and trust that you understand their problem, it's time to introduce your solution. The key here is to position your solution as the obvious answer to the specific problem they're facing, not a generic problem. Based on what you have shared, here is what I think would work for you, and then specific version of your solution tailored to the situation. Then you want to share a quick case study of someone similar to them. That's why you need to have a lot of case studies. If not a lot, then a few case studies. You should always have testimonials, before and afters. Basically, how whatever social proof that you can collect them right now from your existing customers, because you need social proof. Now, We recently helped similar client overcome the exact same challenge they were before state, and within time frame they were be able to after state, right? So this is a framework that you can use. And now let's look at the real life example. Based on what you have shared about your coaching business, here is what I think would work for you. Our 90-day client attraction program, but with extra focus on messaging and positioning work, since that seems to be where you are getting stuck. We recently helped Sarah, another health coach who was stuck at 4K a month, implement this exact system. She was struggling with inconsistent client flow and spending way too much on ads before we worked together. Within 6 weeks, she was constantly signing 5 to 6 new clients per month at her full 3K price point without running a single ad. Notice how specific this is. We're not pitching a generic program. We are offering a tailored solution to this specific situation and backing it up with a relevant case study. Step 4, or address objections. In a traditional sales calls, you have to handle objections on the spot, which creates a confrontational dynamic, right? With that, we can proactively address the most common objections before they even come up. Here is how. Ask them if they have any questions. If they ask about the cost, how long it takes to see results, etc. Now you have two options. Either have them understand everything in the chat, or my personal favorite, create a video sales letter that goes over your program details. I like the second one as it's a one time investment. You just have to create it once and use it, I don't know, for lifelong till it gets saturated and gives amazing results. Plus, the prospect sees that you have systems set up. For example, you might be wondering about a few things. How quickly will I see results? Most of our clients start seeing new leads within the first 2 weeks and their first client within 30 days. Of course, it depends on how consistently you implement, but that's a typical timeline. Do I have what it takes? Because prospects usually, get in the imposter syndrome and ask themselves like, hey, do I have what it takes? If you're willing to show up, do the work, and follow the system, absolutely. We have designed this to work for busy coaches. It takes about 5 to 7 hours per week to implement. Regarding the investment, the program is $3,000, which most clients recoup within the first 1 to 2 months. We also have a payment plan option if that's helpful, right? By addressing these proactively, you are removing the mental roadblocks that would otherwise solve down the decision process. Also, if you want me to go over this program overview video, a video sales letter in the next videos, because I can just break it down how to make this for your coaching, then let me know. Drop VSL in the comment and I'll do that. Right. Now, let's move forward. Step 5, make it easy to buy. The final step is to make it ridiculously easy for them to move forward. No, no, let me send you a proposal or let's schedule another call to discuss pricing bullshit. Instead, we give them a clear, actionable call to action. Right after sending the VSL, we say, watch this through and send me a message saying, I'm in, I'm out, or any questions. If they say I'm in, send the payment link and enroll them right away. Why would you wait? If they I'm out, obviously they might have objections, so you gotta start handling them. And if they have any questions, clear them and go back to asking the sale again. Notice, we're not asking what do you think. That's an open-ended question that just creates opportunity for hesitation. Instead, we are giving them a clear decision to make, yes or a no. And the incredible thing, about 35% yes say yes right there in the chat. No sales calls needed because they already have the details. You already nurtured them. You have already positioned yourself as an authority. So why would you need a sales call? The results. Now let's look at what happened after we implemented this chat closing framework. This is the before stats of the coach. 100 interested prospects, 15 booked calls, 8 showed up, 2 deals closed, $6,500 in revenue, and then 2% overall conversion rate. And here is what after. 100 interested prospects, 100 chat conversations since there is no booking step, 10 deals closed, $32,500 in revenue, and 10% overall conversion rate. That's more than a 400% increase in revenue from the same number of leads. But here is what even more insane. Remember how they could only handle 5 to 6 sales calls per day before? Now each team member can handle 15 to 20 chat conversations per day or even more time. So not only did we increase their conversion rate, we also tripled the capacity. That's how we went from 5K per month to over $70,000 per month. And the crazy part, The team is working less than before. No more nights and weekends packed with sales calls, no more chasing no shows, no more let me think about it follow ups. But what about objections? What about repo? What about all that sales stuff experts say you can only do on a sales call? Turns out it's all bullshit. Our data showed that chat conversations actually build more trust than sales calls because prospects feels less pressure and are more honest about their problems. They can take time to think about the responses rather than feeling out on the spot. They have a written record of everything that was promised. They can easily share the conversation with decision makers if needed. So much for you can only sell low ticket on chat. Right. Now, let's move forward. The tech stack. All right. Now, let's talk about how we actually built this system because it's not just about the conversation framework, it's about the tools that make it scalable. The first thing we needed was a chat tool that could work across various platforms, allow for team collaboration, save canned responses for common questions, track conversation metrics because tracking is super important. We ended up using ManyChat for this, although you should always have Instagram handy, but there are several good options out there. Next, we created a response library with pre-written questions to common objections and questions. This is not to make conversation robotic. It's to save time on typing out the same explanation over and over. This library had sections for case studies, client testimonials, program details, FAQs, success stories, objection handlers, right? All the things that you need in day-to-day basis, right? So this is an example of our simple response library that we have for one of our client. You can see case studies, client testimonials, objection handlers, success stories, coaching program details, FAQs, and all that stuff. The key is that these are not rigid scripts. They are frameworks that customized for each conversation. Then we built a qualification system that helped instantly identify which leads were worth pursuing. This was a simple scoring system based on their answers to our initial questions. Now, if they have question about budget, do they have financial resources? We do 1 to 3 points for that. Authority, are they the decision maker? 1 to 3 points for that. Need, how urgent is their problem? Super important. 1 to 3 points for that. And then timeline, are they looking to start soon? 1 to 3 points for that. Any prospect scoring 9 plus was considered high priority and we would get them immediate attention. Finally, we integrated the whole system with CRM so we could track the customer journey from first touch to close deal. Here you can see we track these leads in Airtable. We have thousands and thousands of leads over here and all tracked leads. Now, this tech stack allowed a single person to effectively manage 15 to 20 conversations simultaneously without anything falling through the cracks. Advanced tactics. Now, let's get into some advanced tactics that really took their result to the next level. Let's talk about pattern interrupts. Most chat conversations are boring as hell. Like, hey, how can I help you? What's your budget? Blah, blah, blah. We created what I call pattern interrupts, unexpected messages that grab attention and creates engagement. For example, instead of how I can help you, we might send, hey, quick question. Before we dive in, on a scale of 1 to 10, how frustrated are you with the results you're getting from your current marketing? Now, this does two things. It's different from what they expect. It immediately focuses on the pain point. Another pattern interrupt we love is the reverse psychology approach. Just so you know, our program is not for everyone. It works best for coaches who already have a solid offer and some experience rather than completely beginners. Does that describe you? This creates intrigue and makes them want to qualify themselves to you rather than you chasing them. The value in advanced technique. One of the most powerful tactics we implemented was what I call value in advance. During the chat conversation, we would actually solve a small part of the problem for free right there in the chat. For example, if they mentioned they're struggling with their messaging, we might say, based on what you have shared about your target audience, here's a quick headline formula you could use today. How ideal client can desired outcome without pain point, right? For example, for you specifically, that might look like how busy professionals can lose 15 pounds without spending hours in the gym. Feel free to use that and see how it resonates with their audience. This accomplishes something powerful. It gives them a sample of what it's like to work with you. They are thinking, wow, if they're giving away this for free in a chat, imagine what the paid program would look like. Now, the decision stack. This is one of my favorite closing techniques. Instead of asking for the sale directly, we create what I call a decision stack. a series of smaller, easier decisions that lead to the main decision. It looks like this. Based on everything we have discussed, does the program I have outlined address the main challenges you're facing? Yes or no? Do the timeframes and expectations I have laid out seem reasonable to you? Do you feel the investment makes sense given the potential return? If you answered yes to these questions, it sounds like this could be a good fit. Would you like to move forward with the next step? By breaking down the decision into smaller parts, they have already agreed to, the final yes becomes much easier. The future pays close. The final advanced tactic I want to share is what I call the future pays close. This is where you paint a vivid picture of their future after working with you. Making it so compelling that saying no feels like a massive opportunity. Here's an example. Let's fast forward 90 days from now. You have implemented the entire system we have discussed. You wake up to 3 to 5 new leads who came in overnight. Your calendar has 2 to 3 discovery chats scheduled for the day, which you'll handle using the chat closing framework I teached you. You're constantly signing 5 to 8 new high ticket clients every month, bringing in 15 to 25,000 dollars in predictable monthly revenue. Most importantly, you are not constantly hustling for the next client. You have a reliable system that works whether you are actively promoting or taking off. That's the difference where you are now and what you could be just 3 months from working together. Is that something you want for yourself and your business? This creates an emotional connection to the outcome that's way more powerful than just discussing features and benefits. Now, let's talk about the implementation guide, what you can implement right now. So you understand the framework and the advanced tactics. Let's talk about how you can actually implement this in your business. Step 1, start with auditing your current sales process. Look at where the bottlenecks and drops are happening. Are people not booking calls? Are they not showing up? Are they not converting on the call? Understanding where you're losing people will help you focus on the right path of the chat closing framework. Create your step 2, create a question sequence. Start by crafting 3 to 5 questions you will ask at the beginning of every chat conversation. Remember, these questions should help you quickly qualify prospects, get them talking about their problems, set up your solution as the obvious answer. Write these out and refine them until they are conversational and compelling. Step 3, build your response library like the example that I showed you above. This is a collection of pre-written but customizable responses for common objections, typical objections, program explanations, case studies, next steps. Having these ready will save tons of time and ensure consistency in your messaging. Step 4, set up your chat tool. Choose a tool that lets you manage conversations across platforms, save templates, collaborate with team members if needed, track metrics. I personally use many chats for coaches, but there are several good options out there. Step 5, start small and iterate. Don't try to overhaul your entire sales process overnight. I'm not saying that. Start by implementing chat closing alongside your existing process. For example, when someone DMs you, use the chat framework instead of immediately pushing for a call. See how it performs, gather data, and refine your approach. Step 6, analyze and optimize. Track your key metrics, response rates to initial questions, engagement rate, how many prospects actively participate in the conversation, conversion rate, how many prospects end up buying, and average deal size. Look for pattern in what's working and double down on these elements. Common objections. Now I know some of you are thinking, this sounds great, but it wouldn't work for my business. Let me address most common objections I hear. Objection number 1, my offer is too expensive to sell through chat. Remember, we are selling programs priced between $1,000 and $8,000 through this method. The client I showed you earlier closed $8,100 deal completely through Instagram DMs. The price is not the issue. It's whether you can effectively communicate the value. If you can do that on a call, you can do it in the chat. Objection number 2, I need to build rapport with my clients. Who says you can't build rapport through chat? In fact, many people are more comfortable opening up in writing than they're on a call with a stranger. The key is making your chat conversation personal and empathetic, not robotic and salesy. What about tone and body language? Sure, you lose some of that in chat, but you gain other advantages. The ability to be thoughtful and precise in your response, a written record of the entire conversation, the ability to share visuals, links, and other resources exactly whenever they're relevant. Plus, emojis, GIFs, and voice messages can add personality to your chats. Objection number 4, this seems inauthentic. If you're using rigid scripts and not actually addressing the person's specific situation, then yes, it will feel inauthentic, but that's not what I'm teaching here. I'm showing you a framework that allows for personalization while also providing structure. The most inauthentic thing is pretending you need to get on a call when you could easily answer someone's question right there in the chat. Objection number five, and the last one, I'll miss opportunities. The data actually shows the opposite. Remember, we increased the client's conversion rate from 2% to 10% by switching to chat closing. Why? Because you're meeting prospects where they are most engaged, rather than hoping that they'll show up for a call days later when their interest might have cooled. Now, conclusion and next steps. So there you have it, the complete breakdown of how we close $1.8 million in coaching sales purely through chat. Let's quickly recap what we covered: the dream framework for chat closing, dig into their situation, relate to their problems, establish your solution, address objections and make it easier to buy. The tech stack that make it scalable, advanced tactics like pattern interrupts, value in advance, the decision stack and future pacing, a step-by-step implementation guide, answers to your common objections. Now, if you implement even half of what I shared today, you will see a dramatic improvement in your sales process. You will close more deals in less time with less stress. And if you want my team to help you implement the entire chat system in your business, we are currently accepting applications for our chat closing done for you system. Inside, we'll set up a entire chat closing framework for you. We'll set up your template library with proven scripts and convert. We'll set up your tech stack, your integration with existing systems, and we'll do weekly optimizations to refine your approach, right? So just DM me the word set up and I'll get you more details about this. And hey, whether you join us or not, I hope this video give you a new perspective on what's actually possible with chat closing. So drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway, and if you have any questions, I personally answer them. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Also, hit the subscribe button. This is our first video, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our next case study. Cheers. Thank you.